Can you hear that? Not really. Sometimes. That's the sound of somewhat silence. Wheels and tires, that's what we're talking about today on Welcome back, everyone, and thank you for joining me yet again. If you've been following any of the posts or seen some of the last few videos, you know that I've been gathering parts and getting ready for a bike build. If you don't know, now you do. And today is Wheels and Tires Day. This wheel set we bought as a complete. I got this through the shop via JBI Bike. Now, you might not be able to find this exact wheel set elsewhere. I believe this is built for them through Wheelmaster, but you'll be able to find these parts individually or together on your own. Alright, what we have here is a Shimano MT901-B hub. You might think, why are you using a Shimano hub? This isn't any regular Shimano hub. The 901-B is what they call the non-series version of the XTR hub. So this is the XTR internals, kind of in a less flashy shell. You can hear the clicks there. There's a lot of them. But sometimes you don't hear them at all. We're going to get into that as we're going to open up this hub and take a look at the new Freehub mechanism that's in there. Before we do that, these are 29-inch wheels, and we are using the WTB KOM Tough I29 wheels. They get that name because they have the internal width here of 29 millimeters, which work really well with today's modern tires. We're going to run a little higher volume. That way we can keep the pressures moderate. I don't want to say low. I don't run low pressure. I'm too heavy. So we run moderate pressures. And the KOM Tough has some internal ribbing because, again, I'm not that light, and I don't want to say I get crazy. More times, I'm choosing the wrong line and I'm going to smack some rocks. So we need some strength in the wheel set for me. 901-B rear and the 900 front. These use center lock rotors as they are Shimano hubs. For the front tire, we're going with the WTB Vigilante. They make this tire in a 2.3, a 2.5, and a 2.6 width. The 2.5 and the 2.6 work best as front tires, while the 2.3 is best as a rear tire. And once we get this out of the package, we'll show you the tread design and show you why that is. Now that we have it up close, you can see we have a fairly spaced apart tread design. This should be good for tons of conditions, pretty good in the soft, and should handle just about anything I throw at it. So on top of the spaced out tread, we have pretty tall supported side knobs, so that's going to grip really well no matter how hard we're turning in. Earlier I said the 2.5 and the 2.6 work best as front tires, and that is because, as you see, the sipes in the tread block here, except for the very center one, are all going with the tire. That means it allows the knobs to flex better whenever you're turning and side loading the tire. The 2.3 tire I think will work best as a rear because all of these sipes on every tread is going across, which means you're going to get better traction accelerating up a hill or on the brakes. Vigilante 29 by 2.5. Light carcass, high grip, slash guard, tri-tech, lots of bells and whistles. We are at 1.06 kilograms, 1,060 grams. Not too bad. Definitely not the lightest tire out there, but I can tell by the way the sidewall feels. I'm going to have plenty of protection. That slash guard is going to help out a lot. I've used some other brands like super light tires and I can rip them apart and they don't support my weight when I ride. They feel like crap. Rear tire. We're going with the WTB Trail Boss 2.4. One of my favorite rear tires. Let's open up the package, get it up close, and let's talk about that. Now that it's right next to the Vigilante tire, you can see the Trail Boss has slightly smaller and tighter packed center knobs with the sipes going across like we talked about with the 2.3 on the Vigilante. These aren't super small center knobs like a Minion SS, but they're just a little bit smaller than the Vigilante, so we're going to get less rolling resistance. I don't want to say super low. These are going to go pretty fast. We've got tons of traction regarding braking and going up hills. And we still have on the side here these high and supported side lugs. So that's kind of the insurance policy. No matter how fast we get going wheeling it over, we've got tons of side grip. Now, like the front tire, this is also the light carcass, but instead of going with the high grip, I went with the fast rolling rubber, a little bit harder durometer, and it'll also help guarantee that the front will always have more traction than the rear. So if we're getting a little crazy, the rear will dip out before the front does. Nobody ever likes it when the front tire slides. That just sucks. Let's get this one on the scale, see how much it weighs. 29 by 2.4 Trail Boss. Light carcass, fast rolling rubber, Tri-Attack slash guard, same bells and whistles. 1.02 kilograms, 1,020 grams. Not the heaviest, not the lightest, but supportive and strong. So the Vigilante front, Trail Boss rear tire combo, it's tried and true. Many people have ran this. It's a very popular combo. Give it a shot next time you're up for some tires. Pairing the WTB tires onto WTB's own rim, I have had luck in the past when I've done it this way that I was able to get these seated tubeless with a regular hand pump. Didn't need a compressor. I didn't need to do anything crazy or strap them in. The beads are made to work well with each other and it just goes together. We will find out if everything's able to mount up by hand easily once we get ready to put the bike together. Let's talk more about this hub now. Now, a little while ago, Shimano was talking about a new hub design coming out called the Silence Hub. They didn't actually finish that project. They had to make some changes, and it's actually for the better to make the hub more reliable and more durable. This is the mechanism that is based off of the technology they were using for the Silence Hub. And sometimes it's silent, sometimes it's not. What it is instead of having pawls and springs that click inside of a ratchet ring, this is more like a clutch plate. Whenever you engage, whenever you're pedaling, it pulls the clutch plate in, and it's like two tooth plates, similar to the DT Swiss, or actually probably more similar to the Chris King style mechanism. Whenever you pedal, it actually pulls the plate in, grabs, no movement. Whenever it's spinning and it backs off, it actually pushes the other plate back out, and the only noise you hear is the little bit of spring tension they have just to keep it engaged nicely. Let's open this up and let's see what it looks like inside. To open up this hub, you're going to need two different tools. One is going to be a 17mm cone hub wrench. The other is going to be a pair of snap ring pliers. Now, on other hubs from Shimano, if you're using these, it'd be to untwist these caps and loosen up the bearings. On this hub, that's not the case. You just need the 17 to get into that cap there, and then this is going to pop off. It actually snaps in. Almost launched that across the room. Now that we got that off, you can see right here, that's where we're going to need the snap ring pliers. It's going to take this ring out, let the whole mechanism come off. Okay, right here is where you need to use the snap ring pliers. A little tricky to do at this angle. And there we go. Comes right out. Be careful with this. It is a snap ring and a seal all in one. You can bend that pretty easy if you sit on that or hit it with anything. And now for the mechanism. Now that that's off, ooh, that pulled off and we pulled some parts out. Alright, once we get the Freehub mechanism off, there's a seal right there. Be very careful with this. It's very thin. We don't want to mess that up. And here's the mechanism itself. You can see how everything kind of moves. This dark ring is the same metal as the Freehub body itself. You can see, and this interfaces with the hub itself. There's another plate in there that I can't really see too well, but you can also see the warnings here: do not lubricate and do not disassemble. I'm actually going to listen to that this time because I don't have any spares for this. But when we push on the hub and it's disengaged that clutch plate, you can hear it's silent. In the original versions of the Silence Hub, it was that quiet all the time. Now it just has a little bit extra spring tension on there. And I don't know exactly how many clicks are on there. But that's the mechanism right there. I'll have to see if maybe the shop or Shimano can send me out just the Freehub body and we can get this apart, so maybe we can get a better look. Alright, here is inside the hub itself with the Freehub taken off. We're not going to take off the other cap because that is how you adjust the bearings, and right now everything's new and tight. First piece to go back in, they just call this spring. Literally just sits in there. There's a nice little ring in there. The next one in the manual they call the coil spring, and you can see that one little piece right there, the little tab. We have to line that up to one of the teeth inside there. Very easy to do. Just got to actually set it in there. Just like that. This little piece is called the glide ring. A very hard polymer ring. That sits, has a little lip, and it sits inside that other coil spring. It's going to sit in there just like that. Now the Freehub mechanism itself, there is another spacer on there. You just have to make sure that it is lined up, and you can see how it's loose. Make sure that it's tight against the teeth. Push everything down in there. And you can tell by the coil springs in there, it's going to want to push itself out. Next to go on is that very thin seal that we had earlier. So, metal side down. Make sure that goes all the way in, past the seal, past the lip. Not too hard. They make a special tool for pressing this in, but if you are careful, you can do it by hand. And you can tell, even with just that much tension on there, how engaged that clutch is. Next step is installing the snap ring that we had earlier. And then the last piece, the end cap. Just going to make sure that it lines up. There are some little teeth inside there. And it's on. Nice and tight. And there is no slack in this. I know it's got clicks, but it doesn't feel like some of the other hubs. This is a fairly instant engagement. I don't want to say truly instant, but it's got a pretty high engagement to it. We took a look at WTB tires and rims. We got a look at the 901 and XTR hub mechanism from Shimano. Now that we got the bike rolling, we're going to have to slow it down. Brakes will be up next in the next video. Hopefully you can join me then. Maybe we'll get the ride together. We'll see you next time.